Tiffany Henyard in court today over illegal appointments she allegedly made for several positions inside the village, among them.
Now she's teasing a big announcement that she claims will result in some of her opponents being arrested and charged.
Once hailed as Thornton Township's rising political star, Tiffany Henyard has found herself at the center of one of the most chaotic political meltdowns Illinois has seen in years. From her shocking defeat at the most recent Democratic caucus to the mounting scandals and legal issues plaguing her administration, it appears that her time as super mayor may be coming. But if there's one thing Tiffany Henyard excels at, it's putting on a show. And this most recent chapter of her career hasn't let her down.
I've said for a while, it's like, grassroots. It was organic when a lot of this things started at the township, where the people were, just showing their displeasure.
Pictured here is a chilly December night in Homewood, Illinois, with hundreds of people, some bundled up against the cold, lining up outside the Homewood Flossmoor Park District Auditorium. Inside, tensions are running high as the long-awaited Democratic caucus approaches. This isn't just any political gathering, though. It's the first township caucus in Thornton in over 30 years, and Tiffany Henyard's stakes couldn't be higher. This meeting is her last chance to be listed on the Democratic ballot for township supervisor. But as the evening goes on, it becomes evident that Henyard is losing.
This month, the judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trustees.
The auditorium was packed to its 600-person capacity and buzzing with excitement as supporters of State Senator Napoleon Harris, who also happens to be the Thornton Township Democratic Committee, filled the room early. Meanwhile, Henyard buses carrying her supporters arrived late, leaving many of them standing outside unable to enter. And that's when the fireworks started as the caucus kicked off. Henyard stormed into the room, visibly upset that you didn't run none of this the right way. She yelled at Harris, her voice resonating through the packed hall, the legal Napoleon. But her protests were ignored. In just 7 minutes, the caucus ended. Harris announced himself as the Democratic nominee for
Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, who was appointed to that position tonight, lost her bid for the Democratic Party's nomination in this rarely used
supervisor of the town. It was a terrible moment for Henyard, who left the building in tears while being led by security and jeered by her. The crowd burst into cheers, with many even shouting the famous taunt, "Nah."
A Dalton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now she wants her.
Henyard's loss was devastating both politically and financially because she was a township supervisor, earning over $200,000 a year, making it one of the most lucrative local government positions in the state. Can no longer run as a Democrat, so her only remaining option is to run as a write-in candidate. But even that seems unlikely to succeed given her growing popularity and a slow-moving train wreck. The cloud of scandals surrounding her Henyard's downfall has been fueled by accusations of corruption, extravagant spending. Critics point to her use of taxpayer funds for expensive dinners, personal trips, and even a poorly attended concert that cost over $85,000. Her administration has been characterized as chaotic at best, with trustees boycotting sessions entirely and township meetings regularly turning into yelling. The FBI probe is also a looming specter that has further heightened the drama.
I'm a private investigator. I've got some books as super mayor. Inside I have from the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois.
Thornton Township residents have become more outspoken in their displeasure, accusing Henyard of putting her personal interests before of the community simply because she gets fired. Tiffany and her cronies still need to be charged with and prosecuted for government corruption. As one observer put it, Tiffany freaked, but now she is the one being shouted. This is a stark reversal of fortune for Henyard, who was once viewed as a promising young leader. Karma and justice in action by Tiff Henyard's repeated attempts to paint herself as the victim of a political conspiracy during public gatherings have only served to increase the annoyance of the local. She has accused her opponents of stifling popular will and stealing democracy. But detractors contend that her rhetoric is merely an effort to divert attention away from her lengthy list of scandals. Everyone tries to get one Thornton resident to comment on her whenever she is called out. But eventually, you have to take accountability for your own behavior.
Tiffany Henyard making a late appearance at the Dalton Village Board meeting this evening. That meeting was being held at the Park District building since Village Hall cannot legally accommodate the crowds at a typical meeting.
Adding to the community's disillusionment is the stark contrast between Henyard's promises and her actual performance. When she first took office, she positioned herself as a reformer who would clean up local government and put residents first, yet her tenure has been marked by allegations of financial mismanagement, questionable hiring practices, and a lack of transparency. For many, the tipping point came when it was revealed that Henyard administration spent over $100,000 on travel and luxury meals, even as township programs for seniors and youth were reportedly underfunded. Even Henyard's handling of the caucus itself has come under scrutiny. According to several reports, her team's disorganization played a key role in her defeat. Critics noted that many of the seniors she bussed and arrived late and struggled to gain entry to the venue due to poor planning. She didn't even have her own people organized, said one observer. How can someone lead a township when they can't even manage their supporters at caucus? This logistical error severely damaged her reputation and provided her detractors with more reasons to doubt her abilities.
2 agendas, 2 meetings in different locations. It was a little confusing for some residents, but the meeting here at Village Hall canceled after a few minutes because they didn't have a quorum.
Despite everything, Penn's remaining supporters have been outspoken in defending her leadership, claiming that she has been unfairly singled out by political rivals who want to see her fail, and that this was a setup from the start, according to one caucus attendee. Nevertheless, even some of her former supporters are starting to doubt her ability to bounce back from the growing scandals and legal issues. Given the volume of scandals surrounding her, Henyard's detractors contend that her downfall was inevitable. Among the most egregious claims are that she misused township resources to finance her political ambitions during the caucus. For instance, she allegedly used township buses to transport supporters to the event, a move her opponents deemed unethical. And then there is the matter of her personal spending. The inquiry by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot into Henyard's, according to financial transactions, she had accrued tens of thousands in dubious charges, including an astounding $43,000 on Amazon in a single day.
But you don't even have a sense to even look in our face. But you rather just steal our money and do what you want to do.
Henyard denied any wrongdoing and brushed off the accusations as politically motivated assault. Not everyone is persuaded by Henyard's story, though. Legal experts and political analysts have largely rejected her claims of unfairness, pointing out that the caucus followed established procedures, the process was followed, and it turned out the way it was supposed to. She also asserted that the CAA process was rigged against her, accusing Harris of manipulating the rules to ensure his victory. They would have gone to the poll, she said defiantly. Harris claimed that following the event, even Henyard's fans appeared to be losing faith in her, with some doubting her capacity to lead in the midst of such chaos. She arrived late, and then she became irate because they were unable to enter, one participant stated.